Welcome back to TBRD. This week on the vlog, we are talking about top 5 commuting considerations. Things to consider if you are going to commute on your motorcycle. Before I jump into that, I want to welcome my subscribers back to the channel, and to anybody new, welcome to the channel. Appreciate you being here. Drop me a comment on your thoughts on motorcycle commuting, and if you have any questions, leave those as well. I'll be sure to get back to you. I would ask, as always, please consider clicking that notification bell and subscribe button. Now, before I jump into the top 5 commuting considerations, it is a balmy 87 degrees Fahrenheit. It is our first fairly properly warm day, so we're going to see during the course of this vlog if we have any of those stalling issues I've talked so much about this past year. We'll see if that surfaces its ugly head now that it's a little bit warmer. Time will tell. Alright, so top 5 commuting considerations. Number one, you gotta consider your riding apparel or your kit, right? So depending on a number of factors, you're going to decide on some different kit if you're going to be commuting. Now, when I'm talking about commuting, I generally think of commuting back and forth to work every day, but there's obviously some other commutes that folks do if they are regularly riding their motorcycle as their main forms of transportation. But the weather obviously is consideration. My kit looks a lot different in February than it does right now when it's 87 degrees Fahrenheit. One thing I will point out to you though, most of the times, I'd say maybe 8 to 9 months out of the year, want to consider some sort of garment for your neck, because even on nice days it can be pretty chilly in the morning, and that cool air rushing around, whether you're wearing a one-piece suit or whether you're wearing a one-piece suit or a jacket, it can get right down in there. So something for your neck is always important to consider. The other thing with your kit is it actually kind of goes into number 2, but before I get there, you want to think about rain, temperature, and all these different factors to make the right selection for your riding gear if you're going to be commuting. But the other thing you really need to consider is commuting consideration number 2, which is, what are your job requirements? And so let me share what I mean by that. Like for me, I gotta wear dress pants, a shirt, and a tie. I'm fortunate I don't really frequently have to wear a jacket, like a sport jacket or anything, but dress pants, shirt, and tie. And also, sometimes I have to go from location to location for my job, meaning I might have to leave in the middle of the day, so that's something else to consider. If it takes you a ton of time to gear up, that could be problematic for you. So in a situation like that, you might want to consider a one-piece suit. Not to give too much away, but we might have a review of a one-piece suit coming up soon for that very reason, so that I have some more flexibility if I need to get in and out more quickly. I will tell you right now, for me, I actually keep a change of clothes at work. I keep a couple of changes of clothes at work. I keep a comb, and I ride in my pants and my jacket. Depending on the time of the year, might have some base layers. If it's warm out like this, just my pants, my jacket, t-shirt underneath, and maybe boxers, shorts, something quick. So when I get into work, I just quickly change, wet my hair real quick, and I'm good to go. That's a lot of forward planning, however. I'm thinking with a one-piece suit, I can just go into my dress clothes, throw it over top, and be a little more quick. So I might be leaning in that direction, but that is something important to consider. What are your job requirements, and how's that going to impact what you need to think about as you're commuting? A third consideration for commuting is what sort of accessories are you going to want to consider for your motorcycle? And I'm going to tell you right now, there's only 2 that come to mind that are absolute necessities for me. I commute year-round. I will say I'm not a 100% commuter, so if it's absolutely atrocious weather, I won't commute on my motorcycle. I will just drive the car on days like that. Hold on one sec here, let's wipe it out a bit. Alright, so as I was saying, if it's dreadful weather, I won't commute on days that are absolutely dreadful. But aside from that, I have found 2 necessities on the motorcycle I have to have. The first one is this. It's this top case right there behind me. Gotta have a top case at a minimum for commuting in my mind. So if you don't want to carry your gear around with you when you get to where you're going, 30 liters, you can really tightly fit your one-piece suit in there. I'm used to having, on my Multistrada, I had both the panniers and a 50-liter top case, 48-liter top case. I can fit everything in there. I may actually consider getting panniers on this bike, depending on what my job requires me to do, so I can store more stuff on the bike when I get to where I am going. But the top case is a game changer if you're going to be daily commuting. The other thing that I think is an absolute necessity, at least if you're here in the United States, is this guy right here, my Easy Pass, that lets me zip through all the tolls if I happen to go through some, which actually I go through one every day to work when I'm coming across that beautiful span of scenery on the bridge that you've seen so often in my vlogs at the top of the Chesapeake Bay. So having that allows me to not stop and zip right through the tolls. So those are my two absolute necessities on the motorcycle. Now, number 4 in terms of consideration is what I carry with me when I am on the motorcycle. So, at a minimum, I'd recommend this if you're going to be commuting regularly. Have a tire plug kit and some sort of inflation device, whether that's CO2 or a small pump that you can either hook up to your battery or it maintains a charge so that you can inflate your tires should you pick up a nail or a flat for some reason. You can plug it and inflate it. I would have a multi-tool of sorts. I carry zip ties, I carry black Gorilla Tape. Color doesn't really matter, but I carry Gorilla Tape. And a rag of sorts, and that's pretty much the base minimum that I carry with me, and those things allow me to fix 9/10 of the issues that I've run into. I've run into when it's really cold out, my bike wasn't maintaining as much temperature as I would like, so I taped off the radiator cover, and that allowed the bike to maintain a bit more heat. Another example, on my Multistrada one time, I had the brake reservoir was overfilled and it was spouting out brake fluid all over everything. So with my zip tie and the rag, I cut a piece of the rag with the multi-tool and just kind of tied that around there until I could get that drained off to an appropriate level. So those are some tools that I think are really helpful to have on board at all times. And the 5th and final consideration for commuting is this. It is a ton of fun, right? I'm commuting right now home from work. It's 87 degrees out. It's absolutely gorgeous. When I'm not vlogging, I'm just totally checked out and enjoying the ride, as I like to say every day. And when else can you do that? You are going to become a better motorcycle rider if you are riding consistently, particularly day in and day out. And my commute allows me to do that. I would argue that 85 to 90% of my riding is actually work commuting, and that's fine by me. I have a beautiful 25-mile ride into work and back to my house on some secondary roads, a little bit of highway. I get a little bit of everything, and I really enjoy it. And it allows me to keep my skills sharp and really just enjoy the ride, as I like to say. So those are my top 5 motorcycle commuting considerations. I'm sure I left some things out, so comment to me below this video on what you think are important things to consider when commuting on a motorcycle, and tell me your stories of commuting. I'm always interested in interacting and hearing those things. As always, I'd like to ask, if you like this video, please consider clicking that notification bell and subscribe button. And as I like to say each and every week, until next time, keep the throttle back, rubber down, enjoy the ride.